if you have watched my previous videos, you might remember when I was talking about the UMA. The UMA is another product or a company that lives close to Polymarket, and actually, it is the, let's say, the so-called decentralized truth machine, as they put it on their web. And basically, what it does, it helps uh, Polymarket to solve complex resolution when there is not a guaranteed answer to a particular outcome. So I will show you with an example later on, but the idea of the UMA is that it's another protocol, and basically how it works in a way that a wallet can purchase UMA tokens, becoming a UMA protocol participant. Then he has an option to stake the tokens he has purchased in order to get the weight and the voting power when there are resolutions. So if there a resolution being created, UMA holders are invited to stake their tokens and participate in the voting. In that way, they have their tokens weighted and can commit to a, let's say, decentralized, autonomous, I don't know, like DAO structure when it's everything clear and simple. But what we have right now is that Bloomberg has said that, identified in his latest report, that there are 9 crypto wallets that actually dominate polymarket disputes. So basically, what it means is that there are whales that have a lot of UMA tokens and could influence the price and actually the answer what it calls the resolution. So in order to see how it works in Polymarket, let just me show you one of the recent markets that has closed. It was around one of the most popular things you probably learned in the media. Will Trump say that? And in this case, we're talking about the outcome, which was, will the Trump say dad or daddy in his speech on May 24th? In this case, we can also see in the Poly market, this is how the UMA protocol proposal looked like. So initially, the market has proposed that he hasn't said daddy or daddy in the rules or in the market context. And then a dispute was created and it was sent to UMA protocol holders, and they have decided that actually Trump has said yes. Then we see that it was disputed one more time, but ended up still being a yes. So this is how the UMA protocol work and how the, let's say, situations are being handled in this particular exact sense. So it was no, and then it was yes. Basically, everyone that was celebrating the no ended up being losers because it has disputed to yes. And Bloomberg has said that over the last course of a year, there are nearly 2,000 polymarket financial contracts that have been disputed and adjusted based on the resolution mechanism. So it means that there are 2,000 of that sort of contracts where actually Yuma has taken a particular stance to say yes or no. And in case of Yuma, what they can do and how actually it looks like is that when the contract is being created, and in here, for instance, on Polymarket, we can actually see it on chain as well. So when we go to the dispute, there will be links to a resolver. So we can, if you are very keen on following, crypto movements and prices, everything is transparent on chain, but it's not that visualized. So you can actually track what wallet did what. There are different platforms to that. But the idea is that how it works, it creates a market. Then on Discord, the voters say yes, no, still not sure, 50 by 50, or it's too early to decide. And this is how they're being resolved. Basically, that number 2000 doesn't mean that it's resolved the same way as Trump saying daddy. It was no, and then it's yes. It's basically they have participated in this mechanism. And yeah, and in April alone, 230 contracts worth of 1 billion were on the line. So basically 1 billion was in the hands of Yuma protocol holders. And in theory, it looks amazing, right? There are a lot of guys having tokens, a little bit portions, and 10,000 people could vote yes or no, and it's like super transparent and democratic. But as we understand, it's not like that. So this particular graph actually shows what is happening between the Yuma token holders. We can see that the rapid or acid pink shows that 9 voters are holding tokens that are basically 51% of the voting power. which means that if they know each other, and like you can definitely, if it's 9 people, that it's not decentralized, you can know who is doing what, they can actually close every resolution the way they want it. Even though there are more like than 99 voters that have the rest 45%, I mean, like still like 100 wallets control 95 the weight of the voting power for Yuma. And like more than 6,300 have this gray line, which is like less than 5%. So what you learn is that Yuma is not decentralized. It's basically controlled by 100 wallets, and 9 of them have the quorum, which is 51%. So if they're active all the time, basically they're deciding what they want. And why does this matter? It matter because the same 9 voters, same 9 wallets could actually participate in the market. So let's say if you are the wallet and you decided to go against the popular odd that Trump hasn't said daddy, and it was trading at 99%, you purchased that 1%, and then you joined up, decided that it actually he said so. So you basically are capitulating, like basically you're capitalizing on smaller bets that there were not guaranteed, and then like you have like big bucks popping out. So because Yuma is a different platform and there are different wallets, different maybe there's the same wallets, but like definitely they're like you can place trades on Polymarket and be a Yuma token voter at the same time, even though if the wallets are different. It's basically crypto. There's like, same person could have different wallets. So what does it mean? That 9 people, 9 whales, maybe it's the same person, I don't know, like 9 wallets are actually controlling 51% of the supply of the voting power, and then could do like marvels. And what does it mean for the whole industry? I mean, before I have read that particular article, I thought that the system is very nicely designed, but it was on paper because, like, you can put a DAO structure, the centralized voting, everything is amazing, and it's like it's not Polymarket, it's a different entity, so it's like basically unsolicited, it's like a third party. But right now we understand that it's not like that. It's just a theory, like an imagination. Actually, 9 wallets decide whether your next trade can resolve to yes or no if it's disputed. So Polymarket has actually also got a slash from like a backslash from the community saying that, yo guy, what is happening? And Shane is actually trying to say that they're working on it, but as I understand, in the recent months, even though community was communicating that this could happen, there were not a lot of changes into their resolution model. So even though Bloomberg also approached Risk Labs, who are the developers and like actually operational team behind the Yuma protocol, and they're not sharing any comments to that regard. So in essence, what we understand that Yuma is quite imperfect and is definitely varies from what you have on paper in theory. So, but probably you're gonna ask me a question whether you don't need to trade on Polymarket anymore, right? The answer is no. I even though it was like 2,000 disputes, it's like a small percentage of all of the markets that are like resolving each day. So it's like a small fraction, but it's definitely could be costly if you're doing some politics on big liquid markets, if you put a lot of money on the line. If you're doing something that is tied, let's say, to crypto, and it's tied to, I don't know, like a particular chain link function that actually shows the number, and then like, it's automatically being said, all right, whether it was 10, yes, it was 10, you won. Then you kind of like downgrade the risk because those markets are less disputed by Yuma. Yuma is usually being disputed when a particular outcome could be interpreted in various ways. For instance, same as Trump, whether he said dad and daddy. And this is the case where the Yuma holders actually work when there are different interpretation of the outcome. So here you have it. Now you know Yuma is not perfect. Polymarket will try to solve this, but let's just like look forward and see what is happening. Do you need to stop trading on the Polymarket? The answer is no, but be careful and know that Yuma is imperfect now. So here you have it. Now you know, and see you in the next videos. Bye.